Hey everyone, this is Peg for Life. We're back with episode 3 of the Community Chatterday. Today we're going to talk about anime over 9,000. So if you get that meme,
Yay.
you're definitely belong here. If you don't, I showed that to TM Reviews and he's like, "What is this?" I was like, "Dude, you do not deserve to be in this this uh, live stream. Please don't even bother attending." So, but anyway, we're gonna get started. We got 4 guests today, 3 guests today. So let me go ahead and get the slides up. All right, and everybody's favorite prince of the Saiyans, Vegeta. Let's go ahead and get started with our guest tech specs as usual. So we're gonna start out with one of our newbies, bakerjin. bakerjin, why don't you tell us where you hail from, what got you into anime, the topic, and what has you really excited about being on the show today?
Sure. Yeah, I'm in Houston, Texas. I probably was introduced to anime through Akira, Bubblegum Crisis, that kind of stuff. But I mentioned to Pig earlier, what really got me more hooked was my parents tried to bribe me in learning Korean by getting Korean, like full sets of manga translated in Korean so I could force myself to read it. So that was like all Dragon Ball, I think Slam Dunk, Kenshin, that kind of stuff. So yeah, so that worked. I learned some Korean. I forgot most of it now, but now I'm hooked. So
Yeah, that's so funny because that's literally how I learned Korean, how to read Korean. Because Korean is a pretty easy language to
yeah,
actually
yeah.
read if you don't know what the heck you're reading. But that's exactly, I got the Dragon Ball books from a store in a Korean store, and that's how I learned to read. And I would bother my dad to teach me how to read just so I could read the comics and stuff like that. So very cool story, fellow Korean. All right, next up we got Anthony Brown Jr. He's a newcomer as well. Anthony, welcome. If you guys have seen his background, he really shouldn't be in this one. He should be in the comic one we'll do in the future. But Anthony, why don't you tell us where you hail from and what gets you excited about this topic?
Well, I'm originally from San Diego. I'm a two-time national champion USC Trojan fight on. Um, and so what has me excited is, just being a part of this community. It's so awesome. What got me into anime was two things. You obviously Toonami, right? Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff. If you're a kid in the, mid 90s, early 2000s, but then also the Sci-Fi Network had their Saturday anime, and they would show different things like Project A and stuff like that, and so those were kind of my starting points for anime.
Nice, awesome. And last up, we got Robot Show Tunes. If you guys caught the last episode, he was also on that as well. It was Legends Never Die. So he's back again this time. We have a smaller group, so hopefully he'll have a little bit more time to be able to say stuff. Welcome back, Robot Show Tunes.
Hello. I hail from the Philippines. I'm in Manila right now. I've lived here all my life. And what got me into anime, I started watching anime in the 80s. I didn't even know it was called that back then. All I knew is they came from Japan. I started with the pretty old stuff. Actually, these were reruns. They were 70s anime, like the Super Robots, Daimos, Voltus 5, the 80s Voltron, Astro Boy, and so weirdly enough, the Bible-based anime series Superbook and Flying House. And yeah, the anime is a very, very diverse genre, so it can be about anything. I think that's what makes it so appealing. It can be for kids, it can be for adults, it caters to all sorts of tastes. And yeah, and I'm kind of excited to see what our different takes on those genres are, what we like, what we don't like, stuff like that.
Okay, awesome. Well, welcome. And as you know, I'm Paik. I grew up kind of the same way as Baker Jr., but anime in particular, I think I share a lot of the same things as Anthony. Growing up on like Toonami, Dragon Ball, obviously, since I've read the comics. As an adult, to be perfectly honest, I don't watch a lot of anime as an adult. I've always been more of a manga fan, so I'm like I read a lot of different series of manga. and manhwa, the Korean style comics. But anime, I'm gonna put this out there. It's a hot take already. I'm gonna say manga is better than anime, but there are a lot of good anime out there as well. So we'll talk about that, and we'll get through a couple of segments today. I was telling everyone that I'm going on vacation tomorrow morning, so we're going to try to keep it to at least an hour and a half, but that never goes to plan. So we'll just let it roll and see where it goes. All right, with that, let's go ahead and get into our first segment. Oh, hold on one second. All right, we're starting off with Q&A this time. I usually have this at the end. I always feel bad because we never get to it in time, and we're always kind of rushing. So in addition to trying to get some questions from the audience out here about anime, whatever that may be, I also love the fact that when we did the Q&As before, everyone else that was a guest had a question. So I'm going to start off with a question, and I want to know what your favorite anime music was, or what piece of music gets you hyped or brings you back to your childhood that has a distinct memory, and from what show or what scene that you remember it from. So I know that's kind of off the wall, but I wanted something a little bit weird. But I think the anime, one of the things that's unique about anime over manga is you have the sound, right? The voice actors and the music, and it can add a lot to the feeling that you get from anime that you may not get from manga. So that's why the question's coming. So anybody want to volunteer?
Sure.
All right.
So for me, it's not necessarily from my childhood, although I did rock out to the Dragon Ball Z music. And so I'm always on the lookout for trying to get a copy of the original series. I guess it's called Rock the Bells, with that soundtrack or whatever. But I actually run on the treadmill to some of the Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphan songs that are on their intro or on their outro. I also have run to some of the Lupin the Third music because that is one of my favorite shows, and it always has a great soundtrack.
Nice call out workout music. I don't do a lot of that nowadays. So. All right. What about you, Baker Robot? Any anime music to get you pumped?
I think I remember pretty clearly growing up the Rurouni Kenshin soundtrack. I love that soundtrack so much. It was just it would pump you up, and that, and I would say Hajime no Ippo. I think Hajime no Ippo has a really good soundtrack. It actually got me to join a boxing gym.
You got a Takamura shirt on right now, bro.
Nice. Yeah, so I think those two, they have excellent music. But I want to also kind of go on that, talking about the visual medium. One anime series that many people might not know about that has really good audio-visual gags that I think does it better than the manga is a baking anime, ironically enough, called Yakitate Japan. So I don't know if anyone heard of that, but I'm a dad. It has the most dad jokes and puns that you'll ever find. It's so ridiculous. And it's one series I'll say is definitely better in animation than the comics.
Thanks, TM. As I said earlier, I made a reference to TM not understanding that over 9,000 meme. And so I was like, this stream is definitely not for you. This topic is not for you. So thanks for dropping by. We'll talk to you later, man. All right. What about you, Robot Show Tunes?
Not from my childhood, but the anime bops I really can get into are the opening of Evangelion,
Right.
The opening of Cowboy Bebop,
Right.
What else? And this is not a bop. It's actually sort of like ASMR. The soundtrack of Mushishi. If anyone's ever heard of that.
I don't know that one. I don't know, but definitely Tank from Cowboy Bebop. That is just iconic. I felt like when they did the Netflix series, they were promoting that, and I almost was like, "You guys need to stop using Tank. Tank is sacred, and you're using it for every single trailer. They have other music and they have other feelings, other jazz and stuff like that. That is part of that series. You don't have to hammer us home with Tank. Maybe that's why I got canceled already."
Yeah, I forgot. The opening of Ergo Proxy. It's an English the lyrics are English, but the band is Japanese, and it doesn't show that they're Japanese.
Oh, interesting. All right, for me personally, there's a couple. The old school Dragon Ball something like Chala, Head Chala, like that pop always gets me. A lot of the stuff from Hajime no Ippo, like when Ippo starts doing the Dempsey roll, that gets me hyped. And then more recently, the Ultra Instinct Goku, that theme.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It does like the dun, 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 that dun, 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 dun. It just has a bop that you can get down to. So, all right. What about you guys? Any questions that you have for us, the rest of the chat? What about you guys in the chat? You're supposed to be providing questions for the group.
The OG Voltron just came up, and then Samurai Champloo. That intro.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so he Will It To Prime says Samurai Champloo in intro music and OG Voltron. Yup. Nobody chose Hanna-Barbera? What? We're talking about anime, man. Memo, you're in the wrong topic, bro.
Is the OG opening of Voltron a Western? Because Voltron is westernized from Go Lion, so are we talking about the instrumental with the voiceover, with the Peter Cullen voiceover?
Was that Peter Cullen? I didn't even know.
Yeah, that's Peter Cullen.
I just found that out a couple of weeks ago. Someone else had mentioned that on something that Peter Cullen was the original intro voice in Voltron.
Oh, that's crazy.
From galaxies far away, something.
Yeah. The Galaxy Garrison and stuff like that.
I hope Peter Cullen stays safe for a long time, because I don't know. When he passes, it's going to be like multinational mourning from all the people whose childhood he was a voice of.
That is definitely true.
He needs to stay safe.
Oh man, Chaticus, he's a buddy of mine. He used to live near me. He said my nerd card was revoked because I didn't know about that. Teammate said he sounded just like Optimus Prime. How do you know? Well, I mean, like, I don't remember because I didn't watch Voltron a lot recently.
Yeah.
Like, I watched it as a kid, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. All right, come on. One of you three must have a question for the rest of us.
I was going to say hot take. I think the new Voltron is better than the old one. I wasn't as much of a fan of the old one.
You got to save that for the hot take section. This is a Q&A section, man.
Oh, I've got plenty of hot takes. So,
but I would have to disagree. I think they're different beasts.
Different row beasts.
They're different row beasts.
All right. Well, nobody else has questions. Come on. You guys must have something. All right, if you don't have that, we're not going to linger on this. Let's go ahead and go to the next topic then.
But maybe the questions will come later.
Yeah, this or that. This is a fan favorite. We're going to start with this. If you guys don't know what this or that is, this segment is where we put up options where you have to choose this or that. The guests have to choose this or that. I'll also put up a poll in the YouTube chat so you can submit your answer as well. We'll find out between the two choices here, which one is your ultimate choice, right? So there's no fence sitting. You got to pick one or the other. So let me remember what the first one is. Oh, okay. So this is the new school anime, things that are hot right now. So hold on 1 second. All right. So what was the versus? Oh, Demon Slayer. That's right. So,
okay.
Not gonna lie, I haven't watched either of these, but I know there's a lot of hype around on both. So I'm gonna let you guys kind of talk to it. But in the chat, let us know by voting. I'm putting up the poll right now. Boom. All right. So I'll let you guys talk. Do you guys actually watch either or both of these shows? And if so, which one is your choice?
I've watched the first season of Attack. And after the first season, if I'm not mistaken, that was the very long hiatus, right? I mean, years of waiting. But anyway,
yes,
during the hiatus, I really lost interest. I was reading ahead in the manga. Even that I lost interest in. So, but in fairness, or rather, I'd still choose Titan because I really haven't even started watching Demon Slayer, though I have heard good things about it. But
All right, so
for the sake of some
you're on
familiarity, I
Attack
would
on
choose Attack.
Titan because you have no experience with Demon Slayer. Okay, all right, that's fair. What about you, Baker?
I'm a lot like Robot Show Tunes. I'm gonna choose Attack on Titans or Attack on Titan. For me personally, I watched a couple episodes, then I stopped. Because it's not. I'm not gonna say it's not my flavor, but I knew the series was coming to an end, and rather than, get what's the show with the dragons that was on HBO?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones, rather than get Game of Thrones, where I didn't know when the final season was going to begin. And so I didn't want to get all the way into it and then, have to wait 2 or 3 years for the final season to begin, because even now the final season is being split into a couple of different parts so they can milk it. So I was like, hey, let's get so far in and then stop, wait for it to be all the way released so I can watch. So basically, so I can then watch the entire series all the way through, because that was one of the complaints about Attack on Titan is it came out, it had these long breaks in between seasons, then it built a cult-like following, then it came back, and then away we go. With Demon Slayer, I haven't watched an episode of that yet. I'll probably check it out. I'm not necessarily into the ghouls and goblins or demon slaying type of animes per se. I mean, there are some that I like and some that I don't, but I haven't got a chance to get around to that one yet.
All right, so 2 by default. All right. What about you, Baker?
Man, I think we're gonna annoy several viewers out there because I also haven't watched either of these.
Oh my god!
All I know is I think Demon Slayer is animated by UFO Table, which is a studio that I really like a lot. So I would probably watch that. And then I remember reading a lot of controversy about the mangaka of Attack on Titan with his views on politics and stuff like that, in Japanese politics. So I was like, it kind of steered me away. But I do know my friends like Titan, but I would probably go with Demon Slayer by default, just for the animation.
Demon Slayer. So we got one for Demon Slayer. So like I said, I haven't watched either of these, but I've read a little bit of manga of both. Attack on Titan made me like want to fall asleep. I was just like, because my
and the
buddy
art isn't very good from what I remember.
Yeah, it's not. But my buddy was like, my coworker was like, "Oh, Attack on Titan is so good." So I was like, "All right, let me try to get into this manga a bit." And I tried to read it. And I was just like, "Dude, this is so boring." But everyone likes like the animation and like the action, so I can kind of see why people might be into it.
It's
but
an
I was surprised to
improvement,
hear.
I think.
I think that's where you have to go if you're going to get into Titan. You have to watch it. The manga hasn't had good reviews. Like you said, it moves at a really slow pace.
Right. Yeah.
But if you watch the show, it's one of those deals where if you can get past the first season, then you'll see that some time has passed and this doesn't move as slow. So it's like Dragon Ball Super versus Dragon Ball Z. They just move at a better pace in the future seasons. Whereas, in Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z, it took them 8 episodes to accomplish one thing. In Dragon Ball Super, it got done in 2.
Right. And then they even realized that and went back and did the Dragon Ball Kai and everything like that, which cut out all the fluff and stuff like that.
I hate that they changed the music on Kai. That was really annoying.
Oh man, don't get me started.
So for me, I'm actually going to pick Demon Slayer because I read less than I did of Attack on Titan, because I was trying to power through Attack on Titan because my boy was like, "Dude, you're crazy," and I was like, "No." But Demon Slayer, I've been actually holding off just because I'm watching a lot of different stuff right now. But since it's on Netflix, I feel like I can just binge through it very quickly. So maybe I'll download a couple episodes for this trip while I'm on the plane and see what all the hype is about. All right, well that one. Let's see what the audience said. The audience said 62% went for Attack on Titan. So Attack on Titan seems to have won. We had two of us say Attack on Titan because they hadn't watched Demon Slayer, and two of us picked Demon Slayer for arbitrary reasons. So clearly, this was not a good this or that. I was trying to appeal to the new, because I was like, oh, if I only do stuff that I watch, it's gonna be all like old stuff and no one's gonna care. I thought the new
was good, man.
All right, well let's get to the next one. Oh man, I messed up. All right, so I was supposed to transition. Here's kind of a newer one. I think this one also has a lot of fan base behind this. So My Hero Academia, or let's see who I put in here. Oh, One Punch Man. That's right.
Okay, here we go.
The original, like the original webcomic, or the
we're talking about anime, man. We're talking about anime.
That's right. That's right.
I'm just going to throw this out here. Again, I've got plenty of hot takes to come. My Hero Academia, best show in the history of television.
Best show in the not even best anime. You're saying best show in the history of television.
So for me, why I say that is they put so much thought into crafting the world of these characters, and it's not like other shows, especially even other animes, where someone learns a power or gets a power and they've mastered it by the end of the first season or 3 episodes, and away you go. They have laws thought out about the characters, the world that they live in. There's hierarchy, there's structure, and it's like what would happen if superheroes really did exist in our world today, not like Marvel Comics, which I love, where, these guys are out running free and doing this. It's, hey, you have to be accredited, you have to go to school, you have to have a license, your license can get revoked. Heroes that aren't doing it unlicensed, they're called vigilantes and the police are trying to catch them. I mean, they've done so much, and the main character and even the sub-characters, you're growing and developing with them along the way. And so it feels more like how superheroes could exist in our world.
Hey, all right. So one very strong vote for My Hero Academia. All right, what about you guys?
I'll have to choose One Punch Man by virtue of I haven't watched anything of My Hero Academia. One Punch Man, the first season was actually very good. I think it's a commentary on media hype and all that. You get the strongest hero, and he's this kind of like, apart from the fact that he's the strongest man in the world, he's pretty much the regular Joe, and he's very underestimated because of how he looks. And I think it is a commentary on perception is reality and stuff like that. And the second season, it's not that it was bad, but it ended very weak for me. It's a terrible, it's not a cliffhanger. It doesn't resolve anything from the season, but at the same time, it doesn't make you want to wait for whatever is coming after. And I'm actually lukewarm regarding the continuation of the anime. But yes, by virtue of having watched just One Punch Man, I'll choose One Punch Man.
All right, Baker.
Yeah, season 1 of One Punch Man, the director, he was pulling a lot of strings. He had a lot of people granting him favors. So there were several like really high budget animators working for free on that one. And that's why you look at season 2 is a complete drop in quality.
I
would say coming in, I'm like, well, if I were to recommend a show to someone who doesn't care about anime at all, One Punch Man season 1 is like kind of a short, sweet, kind of a reversal of expectations. But I absolutely agree with Anthony. Like, My Hero Academia is not my favorite of all time, but they did really think everything through. It doesn't feel like there's always something unusual, unexpected, and in a way that One Punch Man does try to kind of reverse certain tropes, but eventually falls back into them. Whereas My Hero Academia, I think, does a much better job of providing that structure. So I'll probably go for My Hero Academia.
All right, so we got 2 from MHA, 1 for One Punch Man. So I've watched season 1 of One Punch Man, which was super hype, and I've watched a few episodes of My Hero Academia here and there, and a lot of YouTube clips. I would probably have to agree So my hot take is I think My Hero Academia is super overrated. But over of these two, I think it's better than One Punch Man overall. Just because I think, honestly, it was funny that you asked whether we're doing the original webtoon or the redo by Murata. And I would probably choose the original webtoon one over it. But My Hero Academia, I think it does a lot that's really great. I think it is kind of like this generation's maybe not this generation, but I feel like it's another Naruto in a lot of ways where the world is built out. It is very deep. You feel more attached to than just one character. And I don't know that while One Punch Man does have a lot of characters, you don't get to really invest in a lot of them personally. I feel like it's a little shallow. So I'm going with My Hero Academia. It sounds like we got 3-1. Robot Show Tunes, because you're outvoted. You're not allowed back on the stream.
Goodbye.
We watched these this time.
My Hero Academia does a great job, like you said, of character development and tying you into the characters. I'm not saying I've cried, but I've got misty-eyed about some of this stuff, and even the plot twists that they have. They're just really intelligent plot twists that you don't necessarily see coming. That you think that's real. That villain is really smart, or the writers are really smart that they threw this twist in there. So I would encourage you, or even some of the people that are watching the live stream, if you haven't watched it, sit down and watch it from start to finish, and you will buy in, and you'll get tied in, and maybe you'll think, yeah, okay, maybe it's not the greatest show in the history of history, but it's a really good anime.
All right, well, I'm gonna close out the chat on this one. What happened here?
What?
And it ended in a 50-50. So
wow, really?
A push there. One comment I want to point out though is from not Alias. Sorry, Alias, not you. From Willido Prime. So he asked, is Ruby considered an anime or something else due to the mocap? So I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I was actually very, very close friends with Monty the Ruby creator. I was actually with him when he was still working at FedEx Kinko's in Rhode Island when I lived there for a couple of years. He was part of my Tekken crew. So we'd have to spend hours playing Tekken and sleeping over, going to restaurants. And it was crazy because he would always be on his computer while we were at a restaurant or while we were playing Tekken. And he'd be animating. Like when he was doing the Metroid, what was it called? It was Metroid versus Halo. Maybe it was called Haloid. I forget what it was called, but I think it was on he was still animating with Flash and stuff like that. But he was doing that on the side while he was working at FedEx Kinko's. If you remember some of his other early stuff, he does a series called Road, and it features two of my other friends who are from my Tekken crew. One was a ninja, a black dude named he was ninja, and another Asian guy named Henry, who was the speedster. So we were with him coming up with ideas for our characters, and they did the mocap. I think he did some of the mocap literally in my apartment, and then he blew up with the Final Fantasy thing that he did, and then with Ruby obviously, and then obviously his tragic passing and stuff like that. It was crazy. He had such a roller coaster ride, and he was so inspiring because he grew up with nothing, and he was working crazy hours and just putting his heart and soul, teaching himself how to do all this stuff. And it was just so inspiring to see him actually make it. And then obviously, again, his tragic passing. So I have a very soft spot for Ruby, but I can't watch it anymore. I stopped watching it after his passing because of just that personal connection. But Ruby is super amazing. All right, so let's go to the next this or that. I think I only have one more left. Oh no! Oh man, I forgot the animations on this one too.
Okay.
I brought this one in because Robot Showtime is in Discord threw out a hot take saying
Yes.
that he thought some of Studio Ghibli's movies were boring. So I thought I would bring one out from the movies, not a series. So if you guys know Miyazaki's Spirited Away, which I'm going to put it out there right now, I don't think it's the best, but some people.
I'm gonna say it won several awards, right?
Yeah, it's. I think it's more generally highly regarded as the most popular of his works.
I think it was nominated. It was Oscar nominated, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I thought it won. Didn't it win?
Yeah, I thought it won too.
Yeah, maybe not. So we have Spirited Away from Studio Ghibli, and then we have Your Name, which also I think won a bunch of awards, but I don't remember if it won. Oh, I got this one like this in German or something.
Yes, it is in German. It seems.
But yeah, so let's. Let me put that in chat while you guys start discussing away. Have you guys actually seen both of these?
I've seen both.
All right,
I was gonna say for me, it's Your Name, so kind of far and away, as opposed to Spirited Away, the English version, not the German.
Ooh, see, that's one thing I should have done. We're gonna get back to that then. Okay.
The dub versus sub.
Oh man.
The dub versus sub argument.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get to that. I should have put that in as this or that. But all right, so Anthony says Your Name. What's your reasoning behind that?
I just enjoyed it more. Spirited Away, like you, I was like, yeah, I watched it because hey, it's getting all these awards, or it's getting nominated for all these awards, but it didn't do much for me. Your Name was just, in my opinion, a good story from start to finish.
All right. So, Robot, where are you at?
I'd have to go with Your Name as well. Not because Spirited Away is bad. Actually, this is one of the Ghibli films that's actually good and engaging.
One of them? Wow, you make it seem like it's a vast minority.
Yes. Ghibli, for me, maybe I'll name their duds now. Let me see. I didn't like Arrietty. I didn't like Tales from Earthsea. They're the pretty. I didn't like when Marnie was there. I didn't like Princess Kaguya. I didn't like Up on Poppy Hill. I didn't like The Wind Rises.
All the later ones, the more recent ones.
Yeah, the later ones are not very engaging. Anyway, so I'm going with Your Name because it's very pretty to look at, and it's kind of newer, so that's kind of understandable, and it's a more engaging story, whereas because I think it's closer to my romance is something that's more geared towards adults. Spirited Away is more of like an Alice in Wonderland, not knockoff, but something that
thematically is similar.
Yes, thematically like that, and
an Asian interpretation.
Yes, and maybe because
Alice in Wonderland, maybe
Spirited Away, and what's the other one? Princess Mononoke are so very Japanese. Not that there's something wrong with it. It's just that so much stuff is unexplained because it's not your culture, and it's not bad. It's just like it doesn't hit us hard because you're not familiar.
All right, so we got 2 for Your Name, Baker. He's
man.
He's like rocking back. He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, like neither of these are actually my favorites. Spirited Away.
Neither is my favorite either, but I'd have to go with Your Name.
I prefer other movies like Mononoke Hime or something over Spirited Away, but I think between these two, I would probably go with Your Name, even though it wasn't one of my favorites, but it was an anime movie my wife enjoyed watching with me, which very rare. So that I think it gets points for that. And even my stepdad, who's not Asian, and he looks like he's like a rough. He has a big red truck. He does like woodwork in his spare time. And I found this Blu-ray hidden, and I was like, "Is this yours?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Did you like it?" Like, I only watch it for the music.
Right.
Is it like I only read it for the articles kind of thing? But I think it has more appeal. And as Anthony and Robot were saying, like it kind of hits you more for me personally than Spirited Away. Although I disagree that it's because it's not Japanese. I find it extremely Japanese, but maybe not as you don't need to have such a deep understanding of the culture as a lot of Miyazaki's works.
Yeah, kind of the lore, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're gonna have a runaway here. Then I got to go with Your Name. Funnily enough, like I feel like I've been repeating the same thing as Baker this whole time as far as opinions and things that we grew up on and everything like that. But this time, my wife, I tried to get her to watch this with me 2 or 3 times, and she fell asleep every single time. I'm like, how? It's so lovely. It's just so engaging and like, I don't know. Maybe she's an early sleeper anyway, so that could be it. But I was just like, I was bitter. I was like, this is the type of thing that I'm going to fight over and just be like bitter about for weeks. But Your Name, I think for me, again, if it was against Princess Mononoke, which I was going to put, but again, I wanted to put my personal opinion aside and go with the one that is more universally highly regarded. I feel like Spirited Away is just, I don't know. It feels a little overdone in some ways, and like Robot Chotun says, there's a lot of stuff that if you don't have some of that Japanese history and the mythology behind it, it probably does lose out in some translation, right? Culturally. But I think the whole idea of like body switching, that's like a kind of staple story that anyone can kind of relate to. But kind of the twists that you see in that and the way that they handle a lot of the interactions that they have with each other and how they interact with each other, I think is pretty clever. And like I said, it's one of those stories that I feel like most people can really relate to in some way or another, as opposed to kind of a child story where it's very, sci-fi-ish in that sense. But the audience is very split. Your Name is only at 56% while as I end this poll. So very small margin of win, but we got that. I'm going to go back and look at some of these comments. Helios did say One Punch Man manga, not the webcomic, is very, very well drawn. Ooh, well, yeah, obviously the webtoon the webtoon is obviously not meant to be drawn very well. But Murad is obviously amazing with iShield 21 and everything. Let's see. Oh, Mike Rogers. Hey, Mike. I messaged you not too long ago on Discord. You need to go and check the tag. I want to make sure that you're on for the next Chatterday. All right. Hey, King Rouse, how's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for joining. All right. So before we get to the last this or that, I want to do an impromptu this or that for the topic that's come up a couple times: subs versus dubs when it comes to anime. What is your pick here? So let me put that up. This or that: subtitles or dubbing. All right. So I think we already heard from Anthony that he's a dub man. Is that correct?
I am. There are some shows that I'll watch the subtitles if I don't feel like waiting for the dub to come out, but more times than not, I watch the dub for the specific reason that because I am not fluent in Japanese, I can't always tell some of the characters' voices apart. And so I'm too busy trying to keep up with the titles, and I don't necessarily get the full effect of some of the characters because I can't recognize the voice actors or what they're trying to do in a language that's not native to me.
Okay, I respect that.
That's fair.
All right, what about you, Robot?
I've actually watched subs and dubs in the past. I've enjoyed, I think, either one roughly the same, but I would, if going forward, if I were to watch anime, if I'm going to start something new, I'd go with subs. It's because there's something about translation and you can translate something very faithfully, and you don't lose any of the meaning, but the feel is kind of off because the Japanese have have I don't know how to say this, have slightly different sensibilities than the West. Like
Right.
there's some lines they can say that are sound so silly in English, but they have to mean it like very serious. Like, this cake is not yet cooked. This cake is burnt or something like that. And if you say it in English, no, that's stupid. But if you I can swallow it better if it's in Japanese because I don't know. Because
And even some of the way that the grammatical structures, like
No, you're
there's
right.
some way that they can say a line where like
Yeah.
there's suspense that can be built up, but then in English you can't, unless you reword it in a very awkward way.
yeah,
You
that
can't
made me
build up that suspense. There's
Yeah.
certain things like that. All right, what about you, Baker?
Yeah, I think nowadays dubs are different. But when I started getting into anime, when it was called Japanimation and Blockbuster and all that stuff, dubs were really bad. And it kind of goes on what Robot was saying. Like they are not able to get the essence and the soul of the meaning. But I've seen a couple dubs. I don't really watch that much anime anymore, but I'll see some on Netflix. Sometimes my kids might want to watch them. I'm like, they're doing a really good job because I've seen the original subtitles before. And so I think honestly, right now for me it would be a wash. But I grew up watching anime both in Korean and Japanese, and Korean and Japanese kind of have similar grammatical structure. And since I lived overseas for quite a while, like I'm kind of used to that, so I'm okay just watching in the original language. But if it were to like right now, if I watch something with my kids, we'll just watch a dub. Dubs are good now. Dubs are excellent, and I think there are even very famous English voice actors who are just doing, just hitting the ball out of the park, so to speak. And that wasn't the case in the '90s when it was like you're going to
yes,
get your
Yeah,
brothers,
I feel like I gotta start.
girlfriend.
I feel like I gotta start saying stuff like calling myself out before I go to Baker, because that's literally what I was gonna say. Like growing up, some of the English dubs were just god awful, and they're so much better now. But
Speed Racer.
yeah, they were just so bad that you could not even stomach them. But I also agree with ROC Jesus here, who says the problem with subs for me is that there's some dope action going on trying to read the subs while people are fighting distracts me too much. So for me now, because I watch a lot of Korean dramas with my wife, and I'm not fluent. Like I can get by, but I definitely cannot. I'm definitely not fluent, so I always have to have English subtitles. But now, regardless, if I'm watching TV and even if it's like a closed caption on like one of those bar TVs where they have closed captions, I gotta read it. Like I can't not read it. Like my eye just goes to it, so it definitely can be distracting. But I'm gonna have to go with subs. One, for just the speed of it. Like I remember, illegally downloading fan subs because they were just obviously coming out, the same day or a couple days later. But there are a couple that super stick out in my mind where I drastically prefer the dub, and Cowboy Bebop is by far the one that stands above heads and shoulders. Like when I hear Spike, when I hear Ed, especially, I think the English voice actor for Ed was so good. Not that the Japanese one was bad, but I feel like it captured the spirit and childishness of Ed so much better. But yeah, so that one just stands head and shoulders above. But modern day ones, if I watch more anime, I think it would probably be a tough call. But I think I would, if I had to choose, again, it's this or that, I got to go with subs. So I think we got, what do we have? Anthony went with dubs. Robot, did you go with subs or dubs? Subs. And then Baker, you went with subs, right? All right, we got 3 subs and 1 dub. For some reason, the dub is winning though. Caught the W, if you will. And as the poll is closing, they also won with 56%.
Nice.
So
I was gonna say we Trojans don't like catching L's, so I'll take that dub.
All right, so there's one last this or that I have. We'll get to it right here. I'm gonna actually hold on. Give me a second. I'm gonna prep it, but you guys might be able to predict who he's going up against. Hold on 1 second.
This should be a landslide.
Well, who do you think is going up against?
Dragon Ball.
Or Dragon Ball.
Well, what do you think, Robot? You think who was I gonna put it up against?
I thought it was going to be Bleach. They both came out around the same time.
All right.
But that would be more of a landslide. So
Bleach.
Oh, okay.
oh, a third one. One Piece. These three. The reason I picked these three is if you guys know that these are considered the big three.
Yeah.
Yes.
During their time when they were running at the same time in Shonen Jump, and they all had series at the same time. All obviously vastly popular, with Naruto having come to an end with its companion series or sequel with Boruto,
Yeah.
and Bleach coming back for the 1,000-Year War after such a long hiatus, and One Piece just never ending. It's just it's caught up to the freaking manga, which is over 1,000 chapters now. The anime is now over 1,000 episodes. So over the big three, you guys got to pick one. And I feel like this one, I feel like it might be a landslide, but I feel like it might not be. I feel like my opinions are going to be very different. All right, so I'm not going to let bakerjin go before me. I'm going to go with Robot Show Tunes, Anthony, and then I'm going to go. All right, Robot, what you got?
Again, by virtue of exposure, I choose Bleach. I didn't even finish it, but it's the only one that's not true. I tried watching the first episode of One Piece, and it didn't speak to me.
What about Naruto?
I haven't watched any Naruto.
Oh man!
Why are you even in the? You only watch a little bit.
I'll show myself out. Thank you.
Of the big three? Come on, man. Oh, you disgust me. All right, Anthony, you're up.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I was going to say, I'm afraid to get kicked off the show because I know you're a big One Piece guy based on the tours that you've done of your, I guess, your Transformers collection, or I guess your display room. So for me, I am going to go One Piece because it's a more fun ride. Naruto was a little bit after I'm going to say it was after my time. When Naruto got going, I was in college and I was focused on other things, at least when it made its way onto American TV. For Bleach, again, it's for me, it's one of those deals where the ghouls and goblins and all that fun stuff, like I can get into it, but Bleach never moved me. I think one of the things that happened with Bleach is that it came out subbed, and then it, at least where I could get access to it, it took so long for it to come out dubbed that I was just on to other things already. Because I believe when it came out dubbed, Gundam 00 had just dropped. And so I'm more of a Gundam guy. And so it was like, hey, here's One Piece. It's fun. I don't know. It was just a more fun ride, at least for me at that point in my life. And so that's where I went.
All right. So we got one for Bleach, one for One Piece. I'm going to go before bakerjin. Everyone knows I'm a One Piece fan. I even said at the first episode that One Piece is the show that I watch with my kids. And I think if I would have picked, when Anthony said that My Hero Academia, the reasons why he loved that show and thinks it's the greatest show of all time, I think One Piece is probably not the greatest show of all time for me, but as far as like the manga and the world itself, I have a hard time imagining another world that has as much depth and world building and intricacies. And I think as part of kind of what we talked about before, Robot Show Tunes, there is some lore there that you probably will get a little bit more out of it if you understood some of the references. But you can easily watch this. Like, my kids are obsessed with it. It's another show where, the ensemble cast is amazing. And and it's one where they always seem to be growing. You know, the different gears that Luffy has is really imaginative in the way that, you know, it takes some real life science behind, you know, rubber and how it can be used and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, that boat right there, the Going Merry, that's their first boat. I'm not gonna say spoiler warning because this is like 20 years ago, but when that boat dies, I cry every
Is it
time when I read that
alive?
chapter or watch it. It's super sad. It's probably just super sad to say that that's probably the anime that I've watched the most that made me cry the most. And it's a non-living thing. It's crazy. So that's for me. Naruto is a second. I don't think it's a close second. And Bleach is not even a close third for me. I love them all in the sense that I've read them all, watched all the anime for all of them, but it's not even close for me. All right, so Baker, I hope you copy me so we can see we're the same person.
Well, I want to cheat and say I agree with Yi Tao Zhao that Hunter x Hunter is better than any of these three.
Oh my gosh, what?
I love Hunter x
Hiatus
Hunter.
X hiatus? No way.
But
No way.
among these three, so I was actually Naruto came out in Japan when I was in college, and I was in one of the first fan subgroups for it because I was able to translate from Korean to English, and
What?
Korean subs were coming out like super fast compared to English, so they got me to do that. So I would say like starting out, Naruto and Bleach started out great in my opinion, both the anime and the manga, and One Piece was a little bit slower for me. But when it comes to longevity, I have to go with One Piece. It's hard because I don't watch the anime that much, but I read all of the manga for these three, and Bleach really went downhill. Like I had to force myself to finish it. And my friend and I were just like, we just want to see what the next Bankai is or whatever. Just it's getting ridiculous. Naruto, I also think it went a little bit downhill, but still pretty good, pretty solid. But One Piece, I mean, just the way that they have characters returning, like Mr. Two or Crocodile, or or even now what's going on in the current arcs. I just love they have all these callbacks, and I think one of the things that's I don't know how they captured this in the anime if at all, but in the manga at the beginning of every chapter, they seem to have like these one-off little panels.
Oh yeah, they don't do that. They don't have anything with that.
Oh, they don't do that in the anime because that's what I love. They focus on these random side characters, and then they come into the main story later.
Yeah,
and it just shows like the story for One Piece. It doesn't seem it's about Luffy. It's about the world, and Luffy's just in the world. Whereas the others are like, oh yeah, Naruto's the greatest. He has some great beast, and he has all this other stuff. And sorry, no spoilers, right, for these things. But even with Bleach, it seemed like it was a fish out of the water, and then no, it's not. So I think One Piece has got to be it. But Hunter x Hunter it's got to be up there too.
Oh man, Hunter! If it ever came out regularly, then maybe. I was really into Hunter x Hunter for a long time, but then it was just like, is this ever coming out ever again?
I would say even if you end at the Chimera Ant arc, I think that's what I'm considering.
That's where like you should end it, because now it's like if you read like the most recent like chapters, it's just like walls of text.
It's just like
text. I'm like, all right.
I mean, sometimes people complain you get a new manga chapter comes out, you finish it in like a minute. Hunter x Hunter takes me like a good 30 minutes to read through it. So I'm like, I don't know. It seems like I'm reading one of my students' essays or something like that.
All right. Well, the poll is closing, and we have a winner. One Piece with 50% of the votes over the two others of the big three. Deserves the top spot, not just for longevity, but I do agree. I think the other two had way more. Like it's widely accepted that One Piece has a slower start, but once you get started, I think it's hard to deny that it's still crazy popular. I didn't put Dragon Ball in here for a reason. I think that we'll get to Dragon Ball probably during the hot takes. All right. Speaking of which, I think that is the next section or segment, and this is kind of open forum. I didn't have any ideas for this, but since you guys were already flinging hot takes in the Discord and at the beginning of this, I don't think we'll be short on topics here. So have at whoever has a hot take, step up to the mic.
Okay, I'll go first. So let's just
Yeah,
let's
we're
get the
gonna-
Dragon Ball stuff. Let's get the Dragon Ball stuff out the way. To me, Dragon Ball original is better than Dragon Ball Z. Obviously, Dragon Ball GT is a distant, never should have happened abyss. And then Dragon Ball Super. So to me, it's Dragon Ball, then Super, then Z, then GT. I love Dragon Ball because in the beginning, it was about a group of friends and they were all striving to become great. And then when it transitioned to Dragon Ball Z, they disregarded all the previous characters. And now he's left them all in the dust. And it's him and it's Vegeta. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And it just, I'm just, I like it. I watch Super, but at the same time, if I never watched another episode of this Dragon Ball Z stuff, or if they relaunched Dragon Ball and said, "Hey, we're going to pick up from here, retcon Z, and keep everyone else and keep the group together," I would love that.
Or what if they did like how they did the time skip, right? They could
Right.
fill in the time skip. What did Goku do during that time? If they come back and meet his, well, he could have met his friends because they didn't see him, but I'd definitely get into that for sure. I don't think that's a hot take though. I think a lot of people would agree there.
Well, I know a lot of people that only watch Z forward and didn't go back and watch Dragon Ball. Because if your introduction to Dragon Ball Z was Toonami or whatever else, they made small references to Dragon Ball, but you had to go out and find it.
Yeah, because I think it suffers from the fact that like people would think it's like a prequel that came after. Like people thought Dragon Ball Z was Dragon Ball, right? And then when they see, oh, there was a series when he was a kid, that's like a prequel. That's probably like the feeling they had. But I think you're right. They had a broader appeal because they had a lot more comedy elements, a lot more adult elements as well. But yeah, I think you nailed it on the head where it was a journey of a group of folks, and it wasn't just about, power levels and over 9,000 and all about Goku, how he's getting his next big power up kind of thing. And then, the Goku Vegeta rivalry is just so overplayed. It's the fact that it's still going on in Super is just like, come on, guys, do we have no good ideas anymore?
Or just win a fight, Goku. How about that, right? Like you get all these power-ups, but you've never actually beat anyone. It's like he's like Ash Ketchum. Like, hey, you catch all these dope Pokemon, but you never win the tournament.
Hey, he
Goku just beat somebody.
Like a couple of years ago. It was like the big deal. He actually won a...
Yeah, for the first in 20 some odd years, right? Or 30 years, however many years Pokemon had been around. Like, hey, Goku, you're supposed to be the strongest. How about you just beat Cell? Just beat him.
Exactly. He was always toying with his food.
All right. I was hoping his hot take was going to be that GT is the best or something like that.
I think GT is overrated, though. I mean, I definitely don't think it's the best, but I think there are a lot of elements of it that I felt were more interesting. I mean, who doesn't like Vegeta stash, right? That was like, they should have kept that. His stash, that was awesome. All right, who else got to
just get rid of Pan? Just get rid of Pan, and I'm good with GT. So,
Robot, you said you had a bunch of hot takes. Bring them out.
Okay. I'm not sure how popular these anime are, but these are what my friends were talking about, and they love them, but I really couldn't wrap my head around them. I finished this, but it was such a slog. Your Lie in April. No bells. This one, I didn't even finish Violet Evergarden. No, and that's probably because I don't know. Okay. Not really a hot take, but I haven't watched a single Gundam episode, a single Gundam series. I have not.
Didn't you show off your? Well, oh no, that was bakerjin who showed off the Gundam kit.
I just finished all of Gundam 00 this year. My kids are watching Build Fighters, and we love Gundam here.
Oh yeah, I feel like not having watched any Gundam. Like I haven't watched a ton. I've definitely watched like maybe 4 or 5 series. My hot take is G Gundam is the best Gundam series. It's just
G
awesome.
Gundam.
Come on, man. You can't beat the
windmill.
Tequila Gundam, the windmill Gundam. Come on. That was I mean, that would obviously not fly now. They'd have to do some kind of PC thing. Like
I think you got to let that one breathe because it's representing all the countries, right? So
how come was it Sweden that had the Japanese schoolgirl Gundam or something like that?
Yeah, the Noble Gundam.
Yeah. So I love G Gundam until 00, and then Iron Blooded Orphans. Like those two are my jam.
Yeah.
The 00 changed the game. I mean, changed the game to me. Period. The animation is incredible. The story is incredible. How season 1 ends, how season 2 begins. The end of it was. I felt like there were a couple of episodes near the end that I could have did better with. But yeah, I love G Gundam. As soon as the box set came out, I ended up paying all the money to get it so I could get all the extras and film cells and things like that came with it. Love G Gundam. So I think that Gundam Seed is a waste. I think the main character is a waste.
Gundam Seed is awful.
It's terrible. The main character is a jerk. I wish he would have met his end when you thought he got killed in Seed Destiny.
All right, I feel like my hot take is not a super hot take. I think a lot of people agree is that Evangelion the series should have just ended, and all the extra movies and shit like that. I'm just like, why? Like, why are we revisiting this? I felt like they just took away from what made this original series good, and I feel like it kind of goes into my larger hot take is that I don't think they should redo series, and I feel like they try to redo or revisit series too often, and I don't know if it's just a money grab. Sometimes it's a money grab. Sometimes maybe it is. They feel like there's more to say, but I feel like they should sometimes they just let sleeping dogs lie, because
I think you're against redos. Period.
Was that?
I think you're against redos. Period. Based on your other Transformer takes, right? Like no more remakes of the same character.
No. I mean, I've rebought a lot, but I mean, I feel like when we get it 2.0s within a year or 2 years from the same company, I think that's a lot. But I mean, I think for me, one of the things that attracted me to like Japanese storytelling in general, like manga, and as by extension anime, is they weren't afraid to just say, all right, this is the story I want to tell, and this is it. While Western comics like we have now, we've had Spider-Man, Superman, they just go on forever, and while they are getting told by different authors and artists, I feel like there is something to be said by having one person have a vision of what the story and this character or character should be, and have a planned beginning, middle, end, and then every extension just ends up being, and instead of being forced to just continue just because it's so popular, right? Like, you heard early on Dragon Ball was supposed to end with the Frieza saga, but then it got extended to the Cell saga, which was, still good, and then it got extended to the Boo saga, and you're like, and then you get extended to GT, and you're like, all right, like, why couldn't we have just let it? Or, I mean, according to Anthony, they should have just ended it at Dragon Ball, period. Like, I mean, my hot take is just let stories be pure and stay within the confines. Let's just not try to add on or make it more complicated than it needs to be.
I'll say the only thing I would disagree with there is when we're just talking about anime, like something like Full Metal Alchemist, where I think both series are actually pretty good, but one had to end because the manga wasn't complete, and the other one came out after the manga was complete. And the reason I bring this up, this isn't my hot take, but it's in response to a hot take Anthony made in Discord about Akira, the movie. And the movie there's 6 volumes. Each volume of the comics are like 300, 400 pages, something like that. The movie only covers like the first half of the first volume, like some of the middle like kind of merged, and then the manga was still going on while it was in development, and then it took like the last like maybe 40 pages of the last volume. And I would love to see the whole thing animated, because the comics are really good, and it was before all these anime tropes were already solidified. And you bring up like the rivalry between Vegeta and Goku. Like back then, it wasn't that common to have like that kind of rivalry in comics and animation, but now it's like super played out, you know. And I think Akira has a lot of original like ideas. But my hot take, and I don't think most people are going to agree with this, but I don't know if you guys remember when Cowboy Bebop came out, there were for some reason 3 space westerns that same year. It was Trigun, Outlaw Star, and Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yeah.
And I will say, I think Cowboy Bebop is overrated. I love the music, I love the animation, but I think Trigun is better than Cowboy Bebop. So that's my hot take.
I mean, I could kind of see that. If you were going to say Outlaw Star, I'd be like, you're like Trigun definitely has its champions behind it, but better than Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah.
That's a toughie. That's a toughie.
Wow. Let's rank those.
I know I'm going to be in the minority on that.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, and Outlaw Star for me. Like, if I had to rank them, I don't think that. I don't think the tiers are anywhere close there.
See, I would put Trigun last. I didn't enjoy. Maybe it's because of how late it was on, and again, where I was in life when I saw it the first time.
How late is it on is a determining factor.
Well, no, again, right? So when Trigun came out, I was in college. So if I'm, again, I'm a college football player, and it's 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I've got my options of, hey, am I going to watch Trigun, or am I going to do the things that college students do at night? I often, to see how these national championship rings fared, with college co-eds.
Man, you never heard of Trigun and Chill?
It was not Trigun and Chill.
It doesn't work.
So
they're pretty good hot takes. I wish we had some more.
So yeah, for me, it would be Cowboy Bebop. I think the anime topic isn't as. I think we may get more play from the comic topic, because I look forward to roasting Superman as one of the lamest superheroes.
I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think everyone would kind of agree there. I mean, he's pretty.
So, 1,000 episodes and over 1,000 issues, and his rogues gallery is trash. Trash. So, because every Superman, I'm sorry, I'm skewing off topic really quick, but every Superman movie that's made, he's either fighting other Kryptonians or Lex Luthor, and you've been around for 1,000 issues, and that's the best you got. That's the best you got. Whereas Batman, every Batman movie, he's fighting someone else in his rogues gallery.
I don't think. I think most people would agree that Batman is better than Superman, but my hot take would definitely be I think Batman's overrated. Like the whole with enough prep time, Batman could beat anyone. I'm like, shouldn't that be true of almost anyone? If anyone had enough prep time, they should be like, come on, and unlimited funds. I mean, I feel like Batman's only gotten more interesting lately when he isn't a multi-billionaire. Some of the recent stories like that's been pretty interesting. But all right,
so I remember Scryed.
Do you? I don't know. Do you guys watch SAO Sword Art Online? I love that series too. I thought it's very wonderfully done. Again, the stories are very in depth. So if you want to, I know it's out on everything. So if you get a chance, check out Sword Art Online.
Yeah, my friends have told me about that a lot.
I had heard about it through some other people. It's critically acclaimed or whatever. And then next thing, so I watched it, and at the end of the first, I just couldn't believe how the first story ended. And then I was just like, wow. And then I watched the second and the third and the fourth, and I'm like, okay, good job by you guys, SAO.
All right, well, I think that's enough for hot take. We're going to go to our next segment, which is a new segment which is called
Wow.
Highly Recommended. So
I love
I was gonna switch over to this real quick. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can do it.
Pig's gonna recommend Haruhi.
No. No. I mean, I do like that. I do like that series. I think it's a good series.
Higurashi.
But
Oh.
I wanted to share this one, Anime News Network. I was actually pretty shocked by some of these. So the most viewed, 50 most viewed anime. I was shocked that Full Metal Alchemist was topping this list. I would not have guessed it.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, I would imagine it being like the top 20, but top number 1 of most viewed anime by all time. That
Fully
seems
cool.
crazy. Yeah, like Death Note, I also find that surprising. I'm curious to where they got this information. Oh, okay. This is okay. That makes sense. Well, no, even still, I changed it to the world. It didn't change anything. But like even Cowboy Bebop, as popular as it is, I'm shocked.
I think I don't think you updated it.
Was that?
I don't think you updated it. It was that world when you pulled it down.
No,
it was at USA and Canada. Well, let's see.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't seem to change. Let's see, French. I don't think this changes. It might just be I don't know what it is. But like some of these I would have imagined would be more popular than Full Metal Alchemist. Like, Naruto, Bleach above Naruto. Like I'm like, what? Really? I'm shocked that this is all up here. I won't count movies because I feel like that's kind of weird. Your Trigun's up here though.
That is actually surprising.
Inuyasha.
Yeah.
Code Geass is incredible too. Really, really intelligently done.
What show?
Code Geass.
Oh, cool. Oh,
number 11.
Yeah. But like Dragon Ball, there's no way this can be like this is saying it's been seen half as much as Full Metal Alchemist. I just can't imagine that being true at all.
No.
Now that I'm seeing it, another hot take is that Gurren Lagann is overrated.
Agreed.
I don't think that's a hot take.
Gurren is overrated.
See, I feel like there's got to be something weird about this
Yeah,
list.
I think his list is off. Or in high school.
Yeah, and so I looked at some of the other things here, like best rated. Steins Gate is very highly rated. Your Name.
Hot take. I also don't like Steins Gate.
I've read more of it than I've watched it, and I think that was originally an anime first, right? And then
it was a game. It was a visual novel first.
Okay, yeah. So that was one of the ones that was kind of weird, where it's like kind of backwards.
Worst rated.
Yeah, some of the windows. So and then there were
the Tekken movie. That's your boy Pig?
Tekken movie? No. I mean, I like Tekken, but not that movie. That movie was terrible. Let's look at most overrated really quick.
Garbage.
Most overrated was GT, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Beyblade, all these kind of kid ones.
What's Hamtaro?
Hamster.
Yeah, the hamster.
Hamtaro.
I've never heard of it.
What? You've definitely seen this little hamster. This thing.
Ah, yes. I didn't know that was his name.
Oh, one other thing that's a quick aside here. Do you know that like one of the most I guess valuable properties or like media properties is Hello Kitty? It's like number 3 or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Oh, the most valuable. What was it called? Media.
I read an article somewhere. I'm not sure if it's some kind of satire, but it said that Hello Kitty isn't a cat.
Yeah, it's a human girl that dresses a cat.
So
that's
weird.
true. So Pokemon's number 1, which makes sense because it's like so broad, and Hello Kitty's number 2, above Mickey Mouse. I was like,
Jeez.
What?
Well, Mickey Mouse has fallen off. I mean, people go to Disney World, but there's more media. I mean, he's not in media as much. Disney World is a place, but Pokemon's putting stuff out every year.
Well, yeah,
the same thing with Hello Kitty.
Their largest chunk is coming from retail sales, and Hello Kitty outpaces Mickey in retail sales. That's crazy.
I can believe it.
Like
well, again,
me,
with Mickey Mouse, a lot of times you're getting the same old stuff, or people outgrow Mickey Mouse. With Hello Kitty, there are a lot more adult Hello Kitty collectors or teenagers that are Hello
Adult.
Kitty collectors, and so they're moving more units.
yeah. Other thing was we didn't talk about this anime series, Anpanman or whatever. I don't remember how to say it. This guy,
Oh
he,
God.
he's
What are
number
we looking
what?
at?
He's number 5. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's number 8 of all these franchises. That's crazy. I don't know anything about this guy.
Who?
X.
Anpanman? I
Anpanman.
think you're not sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's popular. That's popular in Japan.
Oh,
But
sorry. Hold on one second. I'm showing this list and I'm not even. Hold on. Give me a second. Gotta share the other tab. All right. So here's the list I was looking at. Number 1, Pokemon. Number 2, Hello Kitty. Mickey. Winnie the Pooh. Star Wars is down at 5. Mario. Disney Princesses. Then Anpanman. This is Anpanman. This
yeah,
little ball-headed dude.
it's super popular in Japan.
Then the MCU, which is crazy. Harry Potter, Spider-Man by himself is up there. Then Transformers, which kind of is cool. But I just was shocked. Anyways, that was a long aside. But let me get back. All right, where were we again? We were doing
Highly recommended.
Yeah, what do we recommend?
yeah. So you got to pick one anime to recommend, and this specifically is for beginners. So people who may not be into anime yet. What would be a good starter anime for them?
That is a question. Hold on. Does it have to be a series?
No, I don't think. No, it doesn't have to be a series. It can be a movie if you'd like.
Okay.
So if you guys have an opinion, let me. No, go back. Oh, I can't edit it. Dang it! I'll have to edit it later. Nobody?
Wait, hold on. I'm thinking.
Oh, I've got more than one to recommend, so I've got to pare this down to one.
Yeah, I can with like I want to recommend like a hidden gem or something.
A hidden gem? No. All right. Well, I'll go first then for one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Hajime no Ippo. This is probably also one of the anime which probably does outdo the manga. It's so sad that it's on hiatus again, and it only comes out in chunks. But as we talked about, the music, the action, I think it translates really, really well to an anime. There's a lot of comedy. There's a lot of heart to it, but it's your traditional shonen. Little kid gets picked on, but then ends up getting stronger. He has a group of friends, and they all get kind of stronger together. He has rivals that you see, and you get to see the backstories of them too. So you're not just always rooting for Ippo. Like me, I'm a Sendo man. Sendo is my favorite character in that series. I love him. And I think it's short enough where it's easy to watch and get through. You can binge that very quickly, I would say. I think the first couple seasons before it went on break and came back is like 76 episodes, but they go pretty quickly. They're short episodes. They're not like, hour episodes, 40-minute episodes. They're like 20-minute episodes, and the pacing is really good. I always wish that they bring it back, but I guess that's probably wishful thinking. But it's also a series that's been going on for like the manga's been going on, I think, for like 30 years. Yep. And I forget what the latest chapter is, what chapter number it is, but it's been going on for over 1,000 chapters.
I think it's like 1,600 or something.
I think it's like 13 something. 13.
Oh,
let me check. 1370.
Oh.
Yeah, that just came out a couple days ago. 1370. That's crazy to me. It's been going on longer than like all the series that we really talked about. It never has really gone on a real hiatus, and it's still super popular. So if I would recommend an anime to watch, definitely Hajime no Ippo. Soundtrack's also dope and can get you into a workout if you're into working out. All right, you guys got to volunteer here.
I'll go last on this one.
Okay, I'm going to recommend This is not my favorite. It's just that I think it has the broadest appeal. That anyone could, I hope anyone could get into it. Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust.
Hmm.
Ooh, that's the one I would not have expected.
Old school.
Yeah, because it has vampires, it has steampunk, it has great action. At least from what I remember, it's been a while since I watched it, and the art is great, and I think it's pretty cool. I think it aged well.
All right, that's an
Wait.
out of left field one. I never would have expected
Yeah.
somebody to recommend that one.
We have to
Don't you
narrow
think
down
that-
to one.
don't you think it has wide appeal? I mean, the concepts and the I don't know.
No, I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah, I just couldn't think of anything else. I think that's the other thing.
Jay-Z says One Punch Man. I think that's a good one. Easy.
You can't do that because then they watch season 2 and they're like, oh, anime's all sham.
CT Play says Naruto. I think that's fair. Easy to get into, easy read. Ninja Scroll. Everybody's watching Ninja Scroll. I don't think that's recommended for everyone though, especially not kids. There's some crazy stuff that goes on in that.
Yeah,
It's crazy stuff.
Guyver. Oh man, Guyver.
Oh wow.
I remember that movie. Mark Hamill was in that movie.
I have one that's not like it's popular, but I don't know if it has the broadest appeal. But it is the one that my wife made fun of me for watching, and then she got really into it. And it's a volleyball anime called Haikyuu.
Haikyuu?
Oh, Haikyuu, yeah. I don't know if I'm spelling it correctly. Haikyuu, that's right?
Yeah, if you just explain to someone, it's going to sound like the dumbest thing in the world. But you watch it, and it's like, this is another series where I think I won't call it world building because it's just volleyball. They really develop all the characters, and the manga's complete. It's a good, finished story with a definite beginning, middle, and end. The anime is not, but they have more seasons greenlit. So this is a pretty good entry point, I think, if people could give it a chance. Yeah, it's a little off the wall, but I think it's pretty good.
I think sports in general, that's also why I recommend Hajime no Ippo. I think sports series are very easy, especially if it's a common sport that, if it's not something like cricket where nobody knows what cricket is. Boxing, people know boxing, people know volleyball. It's easy to understand, grasp the rules, but also very deep. Like Slam Dunk is also a very, very good series. As well as kind of like its spiritual successor, I guess, Kuroko no Basket. Yeah. So, again, sports, I think it's a very good, easy recommendation. All right, Anthony, you've been holding out on us. What have you come to? What's your decision?
After a lot of thought, I'm going to go with Lupin the Third.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
The original Lupin the Third?
I would say if someone's going to get into it, I'd probably say season 2, basically I forget the guy's name, Tony Daniel, I think is the voice actor. But basically the current cast that's on it now that have done the last 3 seasons, so 4, 5, and 6. But I love it. It has real life elements to it. He's not necessarily indestructible. Some people may not go for some of the stuff with Fujiko Mine because she's always, bursting at the seams. But I really enjoy it because it's really smartly done, especially the previous season 5, because it tackles the internet and social media and what it could be used for terrible means, the Lupin game, and then the final arc, I forget what it's called, but it's just really intelligently done. Also, the music is incredible, and it scored really well.
Nice. I think that's a nice suggestion. Oh, no, sorry.
Someone threw out a Project ACO. I like that as a kid.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good suggestions. Golden Boy.
Golden Boy.
Hilarious. I love it. It's so funny. I have all of them, and I rewatched them within the last year.
That's a short series, right? How many
It's like
episodes?
6 episodes.
Yeah,
Just
something like that.
six.
It's like 3 DVDs, so it's like 2 episodes of DVD. But the series is way longer.
Mm.
The
Golden
manga
Boy.
series, that is. All right.
You shouldn't have narrowed this down to one because I was going to rattle off a couple.
No, you gotta come on. We all have to put in our opinion on highly recommended, but we could all go on forever. Like, we already talked about a couple on the side. We snuck some in there, some sports
Right.
ones. All right. All right. So we're coming towards the end. I always like to shout out the comments. I got a couple from the last that I picked out. That actually happened some over the last few months, but I looked back and remembered some of them that were memorable. So comment time. First one comes from Gaius Freeman. I love that pick. Apologize for GoBot fans and not for ex-Transbot fans. If you guys watched Fans Toys Tesla live stream, somebody commented saying ex-Transbots is to GoBots as Fans Toys is to Transformers, and I wholeheartedly agreed. And yeah, I did not apologize to the ex-Transbots fans. And my reply was, they don't deserve an apology. So, typo aside, they definitely don't deserve an apology. All right, the second comment of the week is from Cheryl Rose. She said, "Keep it up, Ben. Supporting all the way. God bless." And I was like, I don't know who Ben is, but thanks for the support. I don't get that many comments, so I'll take whatever I can get. And she said, haha, I was mistaken, but it's okay. You got my thumbs up. I'll take it.
Who is Ben?
No, I don't know. That's what I said.
Know.
I have a feeling she doesn't either.
Exactly. Oh, I thought I had another one. I thought I had a third one. Maybe I did. I'm pretty sure I had a third one. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I had a third one that I pulled up. Maybe not. All right. Well, there was a third one that was kind of funny too, but I guess I'll have to save that for next time. Let's see here. All right. Speaking of next time, so we are going to have another topic in about 2 weeks. I still have to finalize the dates with the guests, but it will be. Oh, sorry.
Ooh.
Talking about collections, displays, and dioramas, which is why we have the What If the Collector on here. If you haven't watched that series, definitely check it out. But we're going to talk. I think Mike Rogers is going to be on there, as well as who else is on that one? I know we have a repeat guest. I know we have the Rusty Mechanic and Memo 224. He was on before, so that will be our topic in 2 weeks' time. So either Friday night or Saturday night, 9 p.m. Once I get those squared away, that will be our next topic. But there will be a broad topic, so collections, displays, dioramas, ideas for collections, lighting, and stuff like that. So we're going to keep it pretty broad. But again, thanks everyone for joining. If you are interested in joining any of these Chatterdays, like these fine gentlemen here, and those that have come on in the past, the best way to do it is to go on this Discord. There's a link in the description below to my Discord channel, which was set up really for the purpose of organizing these Chatterdays. So if you have a topic that you're interested in, we have an ongoing list of like 14 different topics, different guests who volunteer for different topics, and we get organized there. And we also just shoot the shit about other topics. We have a number of other channels that we're starting, and just a general channel where we talk about really anything. You can also connect with me on Facebook, Pick for Life Reviews, and then obviously on YouTube, you can leave a comment, and I appreciate that. If you haven't already, please click that like, share, and subscribe so you can keep up to date with all my different videos as well as my live streams, which are usually pretty impromptu, usually at most a day's notice. So if you click the notification bell, you'll be sure not to miss that or any of these Chatterdays. So with that, in closing, again, thanks to everyone. I want to thank Robot Show Tunes for coming back, bakerjin and Anthony for being newcomers, and already signing up for a variety of other topics coming up. Anthony definitely is going to be back for comics. Baker, what is one of the topics you said you want to come back for?
Maybe gaming or other hobbies.
Oh yeah, gaming. We definitely want to do gaming. There's a lot of interest in gaming, and the Robot Show Tunes, he's signed up for like 8 different topics. So you'll definitely.
I forget.
So I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, everyone. Any last words from the guests?
No,
was
it
fun.
was a pleasure to be on with you guys, Pake. We really appreciate you putting this together in the community that you built, not just around your live streams, but through the Discord channel and everything else. It's awesome to collect with fellow Transformer collectors and also other hobby enthusiasts, like anime and other things like that. So looking forward to meeting and seeing some of the other guys who who drop and drop comments in the chats over the stream.
Awesome, Anthony. Didn't you also mention before we went live that you have a podcast that you do regularly? Do you wanna share that?
Yeah, it's called the Infinite Danger Room podcast. It's me and a couple of friends. We talk movies, comics, basically all that fun stuff. It's a lot of fun. We've been doing it for a couple of years. It was sponsored by a newspaper. I'm not sure if it's still sponsored anymore, but we still just kind of get together and throw those things out. So a lot of fun. Infinite Danger Room podcast. Find it on iTunes and I think Spotify.
Awesome. I'll make sure to get the link and throw it in the description as well, so everyone has that who's catching it on this on the rewind. All right, Baker. Anything last words from you? Anything to plug?
No, I think Anthony said it much more eloquently than I can. But yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun. I don't have anything to plug. I actually had to delete all my social media when I moved to China, and I just never bothered signing back up. So I'm like, oh, it's okay. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right, awesome. Thanks for having the same brain as me and these opinions. Hopefully we have differing ones moving into the future when you're back on. All right, Robot, Joe Tunes, our repeat guest. What do you have for us?
Thanks again for having me, and not kicking me out despite my pissing all over your favorite anime. And I look forward to shooting shit with you gents again in the future.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks a lot, everyone who joined. Anyone who's catching on the rewind, leave some comments. Let us know what you voted for in the this or that. If you have any recommendations for animes, newcomers or not. And yeah, let us know if you have any ideas for any upcoming live streams as well. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, everyone, and we'll talk to you next time.